Africa.
Hamjambo. Hamjambo, mumelala. Mumelala. I'm very grateful and honored to be here. I'm so honored, but first I must acknowledge my niece, Mombi, and also Wanjira. We have, and their children, they're not children, but they're offspring in this room. So we must applaud that. We can feel you, our mothers. And above that, we have Ama Ata Aidu with us. So I'd like us to stand and applaud our mothers long and hard. I would also like to applaud Mombi because when Ama Ata Aidu passed away, although she herself had lost her mother, she traveled to Ghana to say goodbye to her other mother and to be with her sister, Kina, with whom she grew up. So I would like us, for that exceptional courage, Mombi, I want us to applaud Mombi. I was asked to speak to you about Pan-Africanism, but there is nothing more that I can say than that action that Mombi took at the hardest moment in her life. But she grew up herself as a Pan-African child and grew up into a beautiful Pan-African woman, as you can see. I met Mombi when her mother had left this country for exile, and it was a very difficult time for their mom, but she had joy in Koi and Jerry, Koi, Jerry, and Mombi. And I met them at that time. They were probably 6 and 8, if I remember rightly. And I had the great privilege of babysitting them. And I like to tell this story because we were giggling so much. And Mombi was a bit cheeky. And it was very nice to have that evening with them. And it changed my life because I was in the space where Mama Micere was living at the time in her friend's house, not knowing what her life would be next, where she was going to go, because she had just left. But it was also a very special time, and it happened also to be at the time when we were performing the trial of Dedan Kimathi in London. So these were very special moments because Micere came to the set and she was able to tell us what had happened in Festac and the history of the performances here in this room, about the history and how the play had been received. The play went to Festac itself and it won the award, and Professor Micere was the actress of the woman in the trial of Dedan Kimathi, so we were very honored. That time I was around in my 20s, but I'd known Micere, like Makwasi has said. Through that poem, I took my child by the hand, and I was born at the time of independence, and we knew this was that time of Pan-Africanism, and we've watched Pan-Africanism decline. Although we have governments and structures and institutions, we've watched our continent decline. So we still have a lot of work to do nationally, but we need to connect with our colleagues in our next countries and our neighboring countries, so when they have difficulties, we stand with them. I remember when the 2007 catastrophe happened in our country, Africans all over the world and other people all over the world stood with us. So we have to have that generosity of spirit. And sometimes we don't realize just how lucky we are, but we need to be luckier in this country. So I have been in exile myself. Some of you know that I translated Ngugi wa Thiong'o Matigari, and I was very happy to hear that there's a reading club with that name. And because of that, the book was confiscated, And I'm happy that Henry Chakava is here, because it was he who had the courage to trust a 23-year-old woman to translate Matigari from Kikuyu to English, and I was very happy to see him here. And what that meant is that because the book couldn't be here, it meant I, as the translator, could not be here. So I was in exile, and I just finished university, and I had no idea. I wanted to come home. I studied abroad, and I was dying to come home. It's cold out there, and we were missing home and our family. But because Professor Micere had become an exile, she wasn't bitter. You could see it hurt her, because we do love this country. I never dreamt when I was born at independence that I would live 40 years outside my country. I could never believe that a genius like Professor Micere Mugo could live outside this country, which she loved so much. So I've been reflecting on the woman's exile, and that's why I like it when Jessica, who is a Pan-Africanist par excellence, says that the future of the continent is a feminist. Africa, a feminist. A feminist.
Africa.
So where are the feminist men in the room? Can I see you stand, please? Don't be shy.
Viva!
Viva our men, viva!
Viva feminist men, viva!
Viva our feminist men!
Viva!
Viva our feminist men, viva!
Viva!
So the last thing I want to say is I realized recently that I've been a witness, a very privileged witness of Professor Micere's life, which is why I told that story, because I've been seeing her constantly in my scholarly work, and not even, because she's so humble. You know, there are some people, they walk in a room, you know, like a superstar has entered the room. But you would not see that in Professor Micere Mugo. She was very humble, and because she's actually a petite person, it was even more humble than tall, huge person like myself. She was very easygoing with people, and I met her at academic associations, African Literature Association, African Studies Associations over this period of 40 years, and I hope that I'll have an opportunity to write about it. And I just want to tell you how loved she was. She's won so many awards, and when she came into the room, although she was a humble person, the waters would part because an energy had entered the room, and I have borne witness as a scholar of that energy. The one thing that I'd like to say, last May, we were very privileged at the African Literature Association to have a panel in honor of Professor Micere Mugo. We were actually having that panel to celebrate her 80th birthday, which is in December, but we wanted at the Literature Association to celebrate her 80th birthday. And Professor Micere was not well, and we did not get to see her, and we did not get to speak with her. But Mombi did tell us that Mommy is here, she's on her bed, and she's smiling, and she can hear you. And that panel was made up of women from Zimbabwe, a woman from the Caribbean, a woman from the United States, a woman from Japan, myself, and another woman from Nigeria, just to show you the Pan-African nature of, and a woman from Zimbabwe, Virginia Firi. And one of the things that Virginia Firi said, as Titi Dangarembe said, when Micere went to Zimbabwe, she helped them to set up women's organizations. She helped them to organize community organizations. And Micere said, we start from where we are. We start from where we are. So Pan-Africanism is not something over there. It is something where we are. And I have seen for myself, as you heard Mombi say, the community. I was a witness also, a great privilege to go and say my farewell in Syracuse. And you should have just seen the love from all over, all over. I was also privileged to be there when she was retiring. People had come from all over the world to honor her. So she was not only a Pan-Africanist, as she herself says, she was a global citizen. I want to appeal to you. It's very good that we are celebrating Professor Micere Mugo. Now, I'm so proud and happy, but I would pray and beg us all to celebrate our heroes when they are living. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Viva Africa!
Viva Africa!
Viva Africa!
Viva Africa!
Viva Africa!
Viva Africa!
Oh, viva, viva, viva Africa!
Viva! Viva!
Viva.
To Njerica Beberi to welcome for us the feminist lioness herself. We are so honored that she has been with us all this time. All of us femininjas look up to her, and she knows it, and we want to repeat it. May I ask you, Njeri, to kindly welcome our feminist lioness?
Martha Karua.
She mama Africa. She mama Africa. Oh, she mama Africa. 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 Mama Africa.
Power.
Good evening, everyone. Asanteni for that warm welcome, and I'm happy that I'm speaking after hearing so many of you and being encouraged by your words. Now, I'll say very little because much has been said, but I want to say Micere was a distinguished daughter of the soil. She hailed from Kirinyaga, was a patriotic Kenyan, a Pan-Africanist, and a global citizen. If I was to be asked about her, I would say she was consistent, resilient, courageous, patriotic, which I've already said, a warrior for social justice, a feminist, a Pan-Africanist who embraced Utu. She was a woman of principle. She stood by what she believed in. She never changed or conformed in order to be comfortable. That's why she had to ship out. She had to leave her country, a country that she loved, rather than compromise what she believed in. Many compromise, even today. We know that a lot of people do conform so that they can be able to continue living their lives. She challenges me from listening to your accounts, the things she did, some of which I am learning during this tribute. Liberating the theater, this theater, liberating the academic space at the University of Nairobi and in Kenya, and paying dearly for it. And I know that we think we are liberated because we gained our independence in full. But until our minds are free, we are still under the colonial or imperialist yoke. So the greatest liberation that Micere has given and will continue to inspire is the liberation of the mind. She was herself. She did not try to be somebody else. From her dressing, from her life to everything, she was an African through and through. And it is women like her who inspired us to embrace, to eventually, because we didn't start by embracing, to eventually embrace our Africanness. That you want, as you walk into a room, as you travel, you want your whole being to scream, I'm an African. She was beautiful. I mean, I don't have to say it. But the greatest beauty is her beauty of the heart. Because she was beautiful outside and she was beautiful in the heart. And that is shown by her actions. I said it yesterday and I'll repeat. From thousands of miles away, she was connecting with the social justice movement in this country. And that really challenges me. Because we think we are doing a lot until you hear of somebody else. And it makes me ask myself, what more can I do? And to see the gap, to see that there is much more one can do beyond what we are doing. I'm so glad when I see our sons and daughters from the social justice movement, when I see how they have embraced the struggle for liberation, entire liberation, because liberation without the liberation of women is not full. So when I see how our sons and daughters have embraced and the fire in their bellies, I know all is not lost. And that we shall continue to say, Aluta, continue. I know Micere is physically gone. Her spirit will live on. I know she has so many sons and daughters because I've seen them and I've seen her spirit in each one of you. I am therefore hopeful because we must ask ourselves, what lessons do we draw for today in her life? That being a liberator is costly. It can cost you dearly, and it will cost you dearly. And here in Kenya, we know those lessons. We know people who have gone to meet their maker for no fault of their own, just for raising their voices to say we are oppressed, to say we want things to change. Others have lost their lives just because they were around the place where action was happening, or because the law enforcement agencies, or the lawbreakers, if you like, went to their homes to fish them out of their houses and to brutalize them. So what does that tell us? To continue with the work of liberation, we have to be selfless, we have to be fearless, we have to be courageous, and it's up to us, as a tribute to our foreign hero, to continue with the work of liberating this country. The work she carried out in and out of the country, connecting with Kenya from wherever she was, and yet doing as much for the rest of Africa and for the world. So I want to urge today that the greatest tribute we will pay to her, those of us who are here in heaven, is to be aware of your surroundings, to see what needs to be done. And in this country, we gave ourselves a covenant in 2010, the Constitution, to protect our God-given rights and to also say how we want to be governed. Things are not okay. We have that beautiful covenant, but everything in it is the road being reversed. Things are upside down. I want to urge us to stand up firm and protect our rights. Speak out. Never lose our agency, even under duress. Let us be that voice. Let us be Micere, even in the storm of the socio-economic and political circumstances of Kenya. Let Micere's light shine in all of us. I thank you.
Shema, Shema, Africa.
Mama, she mama Africa. Say she mama Africa. She mama Africa. She mama Africa. Africa. She mama Africa. She mama Africa. She mama Africa.
Mistari.
Mimi mtemi mistari na hapa ya kwamba chochote nitakachosema kwenye ukumbi huu ni ukweli na ni ukweli mtupu. Mama, nisaidie. Mimi sijakuja hapa kulia, kuteta ama kulalamika kuhusu haki za wanawake. Nimekuja hapa kucelebrate na kupiga huyu mama wetu. Sisi wote ni wanawake. Sifa za mama ni nyingi hadi hakuna summary inaweza zisummarize. Na uwezo wake ni so obvious hadi hakuna vile inaweza kupata kama surprise. Mama ni mama na yeye ni mlezi mtrue. Ndio kwa maana tuko na deadbeat dads but huwezi sikia deadbeat mom. Mama so amazing. That's why ukiturn the word mom upside down itakuwa wow. Angalia confirm, wacha kuniangalia how. Mama so awesome. Hadi ukiandika jina mama, alafu some from huku to huku, itakuletea amam. Jaribu uone. Wacha kuniangalia na macho za Allah. I came from a woman, and the first human being to ever talk to was a woman. Na kukupenda najua siko wrong. Sifa za mama ni kibao sana hadi sidhani naweza zi highlight. Kwa sababu hata nikianza tutadumu hapa hadi tusimiwezi light. But reality ni ati siwezi choka kusifu mama every day and every night. And in every situation, hata kila mtu akileft, mama, you will always be my right. Vitu nyingi nimejifunza from huyu mama, nitazihold kwa roho yangu very tight. Mtoto akiwa mjinga ni wa mama. Ushisikia mama akidinai? Mtoto akiwa mang'aa, mama umembrace, hata wengine wakiona hafai. Mama is the best teacher in the whole world. No wonder asiyefunzwa na mamae. Asiyefunzwa na mamae? Mbona hawakusema babae? When I grow up, I wanna be a mama. I wanna have tabia za kimama. So, saa zile unaniambia ati niko na umama, to me it's a compliment. Because that's what I'm yearning to be. Mtu ako na umama. By the way, Kenya yetu yote si ni mama. Na Afrika yetu yote si pia ni mama. So now I understand kwa nini wazungu wanapenda kunyanyasa na kuchukua rasilimali za Afrika. Si ni vile tu mama unyang'anywa mali zake kwa hakika. Ni vile tu mama unyang'anywa watoto, shamba, chakula, maisha, haki ya kusema na kusikika, kudecide na kusifika, uongozi na kutambulika, na hivyo ndivyo Afrika hufanyiwa. Na since Afrika yote ni mama, it's high time tuache mama arudishiwe dignity yake. Because mama akiwa free, Afrika itakuwa free. Mama akiget back land yake, Afrika itapata chakula bila kuomba. Hakuna kitu ni inspire kama kuona mama akitoa hotuba. By the way, hizi sifa zote na mwagia mama ni reality, sio chocha. Mama ndiye anajua kusurvive mjini, but haina difference hata ukimpeleka Ocha. By the way, watu hufanya research. Angalieni institutions ziko headed na mama. Discipline inakuaga huko. It's only mama mwenye anaweza double up kama baba. Yani 2 in 1 parent. Na hizi vitu nasema, si vitu ziko kwa archives, they are very current because mama will always stand hata kwa mawimbi na hata kubali kubebwa na current. Hello Mama Africa, how are you? And to answer that, Mama Africa is fine, though her heart is bleeding. She is fine, though her eyes are wet. Wet because of the injustices being done to her children, her source of happiness. Wet because of the damage and dilapidation of her land by the so-called global warming. Now Mama is standing tall and she's ready to give the globe a warning that the looters have taken more than enough and the owner has noticed. And now the owner is ready to get back what belongs to her. And Mama is pleading to her children to stand and help her get back what was stolen from her. And Mama is optimistic that the war shall end in our favor. And she's preparing for us a song of victory. And she's telling us to get ready for a dance of triumph. And we, her children, are ready in whatever circumstance. Ready to stand side by side without keeping a distance. And since united we stand, we'll go on with the resistance. And as IJM says, until all are free. So I say, until Mama is free.
Viva Mama Africa, viva!
Kusema kweli nikiendelea after hapo nitaribu kila kitu nimesema. So, akili mtu wangu, mtemi mistari.
Viva mistari, viva! Orecha Creatives. Viva Mama Africa, viva! Orecha Creatives with the woman's poem.
Can we all say, just imagine? Again, just imagine. Now, if you are to say this in the typical Gikuyu, we will say what? Pamoja? Now, I will want you to help the Orecha Collective by you constantly making that refrain when they are going to share with you Micere's poem, The Woman's Poem. So nikisema ta imagine muna repeat, sawa? Ta imagine.
Ta imagine.
Much more louder than that. Ta imagine.
Ta imagine.
Ta imagine. Ta imagine that you and I and all the women of this world stood hand in hand, marched side by side, crossing dividing, constructing connecting bridges, shattering binding chains, crowding the linkable links across the nations, across the continent. Ta imagine.
Ta imagine.
Ta imagine.
Imagine that all the multitude of pro-women forces stood hand in hand, marched side by side, forming one mighty waterfall of sweeping human waters, flooding and drowning into the ocean all forms of oppression. Imagine
that our wombs issue one populous global family of woman combatants, building a ladder to step up the struggle, founding a wall to firm up resistance, resting on shoulders of reckoning victory.
Imagine. Our hearts were merged and that our minds were fused in composing one eternal creation poem, in enacting one non-ending feminist drama. Imagine that this theater starred one mammoth sea of women, so mobilized no one could rip us off. A force so militant, no patriarchy can molest. A family so united, no racism can separate. A human breed so liberated, no classism can be divided. Imagine that we exploded chilling silences, defrosted refrigerated womanhood, pestled and mortared the chains that grate and grind us. Imagine
that we blasted self-effacement, question-marked our invisibility, hugged our irrepressible specialness, celebrated our stunning beautifulness, reclaimed our ignored indispensability.
Imagine that we rolled all those borders that blockade our march forward, and that we moved all the mountains that obstruct our vision onward, and that we penetrated the thicket of myths that capture and cage our humanity, our woman.
Imagine that we freed our hands and bound our feet, unfettered our minds, liberated our lives, piloting our own history forward. Advancing.
Imagine that we stripped patriarchy naked, shouted foul to domination, thundered no to oppression, screamed murder to abuse, pronounced death to imperialism, and declared war on classicism. Imagine that we painted
a limitless canvas of love,
choreographed
a dance to empowerment,
celebrated
life for development,
delivered true birth through women. Latest
ultimate growth in humankind.
Imagine. Thank you.
Thank you. Imagine orphanage and cricket. Imagine orphanage and cricket. The night is not yet over, it will be. But orphanage and cricket are here. Imagine we have orphanage and cricket.
orphanage is on. Oh, okay. I was going to actually...
Hey! Afrika moja! Afrika moja! Afrika huru! Afrika ya kijamaa! Viva Micere Mugo, viva! Viva Micere Mugo, viva! What a special day. Tuko peke yangu. You know, we lose people in our lives. And a lot of people that we lose, you know, it's painful for the people around them. You know, it's painful for your family, your friends, and your circle of you know, close people. But Micere Mugo is more than just any person. When we lose somebody like Micere Mugo, you know, it's painful for the entire humanity because of how much she's contributed, how much she could have contributed. But today we're here to celebrate. Each and every one of you has been touched in their own way. We're beneficiaries of Micere's benevolence, Micere's intellect, Micere's liberating spirit. I'm just grateful that I got to meet her in person, if only for that one time earlier this year. And this is why we have to celebrate. This is Colossus. If they ask you who I am, tell them, I am the last standing patriot, a remnant of the Warsaw Ghetto. This is our return to the source. Cabral is back to reverse an assassin's sin. Let's seal the unwarranted wounds begot of cold metal. Welcome to my poetic arena. This is where I trade combat for words, the only sure way to win this war in regards to the massive loss of the battle. Here, I leave pages in awe, freestyling my purpose, forget the standards. This is that 17th bar that just can't be left out in a verse. I am that ink spraying Kimani Maruga watching your roads, defying the canvas. Bank slave swiftly guarding my fingers. Picasso and Michelangelo can be a witness. Art doesn't get better than this. Usain bolting my brains, very few can keep up my pace. In a damn sight of nylon, I am what remains of the real leather in place. This is the Mona Lisa by your side, tiptoeing on the edge of your oblivion. Who knew she was going to outlive her peers? This is the Mona Lisa by your side, tiptoeing on the edge of your oblivion. Who would have thought she would outlive her peers?
Mimi ni wewe, nawe, nawe, nawe.
If they ask you who I am, I said, if they ask you who I am, tell them, I am the last just judge. The Supreme Courts and the ICCs are no place for my case. Behold, we are the world. From Eastleigh to Corem, this is the 6th camera more with a vision of healing the world through the lens. Tupac is back on the pulpit. From LA to DC, catch me preaching the ghetto gospel in the Pentagon. And a tree must give back to the roots, so we leave Kingston for Zimbabwe. The rejected one has become the cornerstone. Mary can now marry Emali. This is Matigari on the prowl. When the wedding bell rings, I'll be by Munge Generali walking Mudhoni Wanyanjiro down the L. Shoot up your fist and hail the Ebony Queen. I said, when the wedding bell rings, I'll be Pure Gamma Pinto walking Micere Mugo down the L. Shoot up your fist and hail the Ebony Queen. Shoot up your fist and hail the Ebony Queen. Let the drum beat roll. Let the drum beat roll. My heart beats with the pulse of old souls. Tell Maina Wakinyati that I use the prison notebook to unlock the shackles so the unfinished revolution will be completed. I said, tell Maina Wakinyati that I use the prison notebook to unlock the shackles so the unfinished revolution will be completed.
Mimi ni ule, mimi ni ule, mimi ni wewe, nawe, nawe, nawe.
And if they still want to know, tell them, I am the resilient last of a dead breed. Bullets heed when I speak. Kinja Kitile bloodlines. Trade your dodges for praise songs. My lifetime extends beyond closed caskets and deserted and marked graveyards in committee prison. I am big, bigger than life. I am Colossus. Colossus. Micere Mugo is Colossus.
Viva.
There is yeah. Can I one short poem, right? One short poem. All right. So I'm going to share this because this is the poem I performed when Micere visited. Because I feel like it celebrates that spirit. There's a song I love by two rappers, Killer Priest and Chief Kamachi, and they say, life and death is like a carnival in cemeteries. There is nobody left that's honorable. They've all been buried. And there's very few people that are truly honorable left. And we can all attest that Micere Mugo is one true honorable person. Fahamu, matendo ya wengi yalifanya nikaning'inia kwa imani. Taarifa humu zilininyima hamu maishani. Ila ujasiri wako ulinipa tabasamu. Jitihada zako za utu zilinijaza na matumaini na binadamu. Fahamu, udhabiti wako ungali nguzo ya msukumo wangu, na uaminifu wako bado ni chanzo cha raha kwangu. Fahamu.
Hey, 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 hey,
Majaliwa. In a few years nitakuwa na explore my 30s. As a matter of fact, it's been a few years since nianze ku explore my 30s. Waambia tunataka growth na progress mali tunadwell. Iko so 1930s wakianza kubagua faces ki STL. Maneno toka kwa kitusiwa. Hatuwezi afford tena kuona race mzima ikibaguliwa after mayai ya kuoza kutumiwa. Chambua maono ya Ali Mazirui. Ndalalaje unono ka hero wangu ameshtakiwa kwa Rui akasulubiwa. Just a few but to mention. General Baimungi, Dedan Kimathi, Pio Gama Pinto, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Stephen Biko, Ken Saruwiwa. Mama Wangari alijua. Safety ni kutunza environment, si kujenga shades na kuvaa helmet. Tumereduce money ya heroes wetu to statues na street names na tuko helpent. So mi upanda jukwani nikidance kifudu. Kushangilia mekatilili wa menza. Yule ndo ule mwanamke ali turntables hata kabla kuna DJ units na production stables. Too bad tumesahau metamorphosis ilianza mishipa zikibleed. Ndio kupatikana shamba ya kupanda hizi seed. So nikidai mikono zipangwe. Anza kuleta shangwe na usikazie makofi ya kilo. Usikazie makofi ya kilo na idea jo volume ya machozi nimedrain kwa pilo. Ndio mashujaa makaburini ndio wamejaa. Hawa wengine mashujaa bado wanalala njaa. Hawa ndio mashujaa. Usishtuke jua vile tunakaa, sisi ndio mashujaa, usidanganywe na hizi nguo tumevaa. Sisi ndio mashujaa. Kwa maisha yangu fupi nimeona mengi marefu. Kwa style yangu fupi ya nywele nimeona mengi mandevu. Jumuiya ndogo mambo kibao. Mengine natabasamu nikikumbuka, mengine na wish forever kusahau. Mengine yakawa, mengine wonders kama kaburi za Farao. Mengine achievement, mengine blunders, majasiri kuonyesha madharau. No wonder kiangazi machungu yao, mafuriko machozi ya maumau. Hakuna nuru. After walishapigania uhuru, Afrika taa ilishazimwa. After walishapigania uhuru, Kenya taa ilishazimwa. Wajukuu wao bado ni watumwa, hilo kunukuu sisahau. No wonder wengine wetu kupata chakula ni kuchakura maganda kwa takataka juu wenye mamlaka wana feast kwa zote wabakishi. Zikibaki labda mbichi wananchi wanadishi mawishes. Nikaa kusomesha maandishi yameondoka na choka ya white kwa ubao imepakwa rangi ya white. Siri za giza na nengo za white. Prophecies za doom toka vichwa bright. Siri za giza na nengo za white. Prophecies za doom toka vichwa bright. Mashujaa makaburini ndio wamejaa. Hao wengine mashujaa bado wanalala njaa. Hawa ndio mashujaa. Usishtuke jua vile wanakaa, sisi ndio mashujaa. Usidanganywe na hizi nguo tumevaa. Sisi ndio mashujaa. Hata kama bado system ya majambazi, maskini kufa kwa kiangazi, na dini ndio saa kazi, biashara kung'ara na waumini kwa madhabahu, prayer request ya bahasha na madhao. Msee msoto kupata haki nikakulenga kiroboto na mkuki. Kakulipwa babu gam kwa mdomo ukiexpect msee wa Iraq ajituanduki. Kakulipwa babu gam kwa mdomo ukiexpect mtu wa Somalia ajituanduki. Tafsiri hii ni wakati tujue maana nyeusi, nyekundu, kijani na nyeupe, amani kwa bendera. Raia kishage kwa desperado ki Antonio Banderas, nipe biko we baki na Mandela. Na dai mekatilili wa menza kwa meza. Escape semishako ndio the only route tunajua like the back of our hands, basi elewa. Mbona truth ni bitter pill na ni ngumu kwa sisi kuimeza. Kimathi ni wia radhi. Bado naishi kwa magoti. Kimathi ni wia radhi juu woga. Hata kama wanadai mimi ni mnoti. Kimathi ni wia radhi. Bado nalamba miguu ndo nidishi. Ndio nipate noti.
Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey.
Hey. Halo. Mwanzo inakuanga ngumu kuperform after mtu amekumenta, si ndio? Ndio, lakini tunavaa tu hiyo koti, si ndio? So angalia mwenye ako kando yako, mwambie anakaa poa. Unamwambia kweli? Mwambie hadi akikaa bado amesimama, si ndio? Unamwambia hivyo kweli? So mimi naitwa Cricket, and big up kwa kila artist amekuwa hapa hivi. Si rahisi kuwa msanii, si ndio? Wanasemanga msanii ni kioo cha jamii, si ndio? Sisi ndio vioo. So mimi nashukuru sana kuwa hapa. So nataka uangalie jirani yako umuulize, are you willing to walk the road that Micere Mugo walked? Muangalie umuulize hivyo. So leo hata wakichain my body lazima nita free my mind kama Micere. Sita betray hii motherland kwa kusubmit kwa operation. Kwa hii country imejaa patriots kwa jails na prisons juu ekonomia hii ya juu ekonomia ni colonialist, na hii regime na create poverty na kufanya mayouths kuwa criminals. Kama Micere nimekataa kunyamaza kuona tunaoga mikono kuserve bullets. Leo hata kama history haitaandikwa na pen, lazima iandikwe na rifle. Sina fear imprisonment kwa regime na treat citizens kama slaves, inatudeny human rights, na bado kwa public holidays tunaimba love, peace and unity. Mashujaa Day bado tuna celebrate heroes walipigania land, food na freedom, na bado wana live kama squatters in poverty. Like Zakina Mokami Kimathi alilive kama Spartan, alafu state ikampea befitting burial. Nani haoni harvest ya independence ni kama ilikuwa unemployment, poverty, hunger na social inequality. Unafilaje sasa zenye country yako itahoist the national flag for Queen Elizabeth and not for Mukami Kimathi na like Zakina Micere Mugo? Ni aje hii country ni most democratic time tunakufa na njaa na others wanakufa kwa detention cells na torture chambers. Country ni prison, home ya oppressed, alafu a small minority na enjoy privileges. Exam papers zimechelewa kufika Turkana, transport ni ya udu, na ballot papers zilifika before 6 am. Hakuna budget ya kufeed citizens, but kuna budget ya kutuma troops kwenda Congo. Protest the high cost of living zina end up na tear gas. Constitution 2010 ilifaa kukaa tiba, but ni kama katoto kalizaliwa na kakakuwa kidnapped. Mtoi anasare shule juu ya kukosa uniform, na bado akienda shule anasoma the wrong history. Hii niyo strategy ya oppressor ya kuproduce servants faithful wa ukoloni mamboleo. So are you willing to walk the road that Micere Mugo walked? The hard road to freedom, the road to a social justice country, the road that Dedan Kimathi, the road that Mekatilili Wamenza traveled. How do you feel when people who run government steal from the poor, how do you feel when people who run government steal from the poor, enrich themselves through exploiting the majority? A country where justice is a commodity reserved for the rich and the powerful. A country where our youth's ideas are suppressed and national patriotism paralyzed in our prisons. To the police, how does it feel to be paid peanuts, live below the poverty line, and still be used as a tool of oppression? So policies. So nani haoni Kenya taa? Bado hakuna. Nani atatikile article 1 ya constitution bifiti? All sovereign power belongs to the people. All sovereign power belongs to the people. The people ni set fulani ya rulers of protect wealth kwao. Sando wamekram Apostles Creed, alafu Monday Creed na wadrive na testimonies za vile 7 days without prayer inawafanya weak. So nani haoni Kenya taa? Bado hakuna. Wewe utasikia kiongozi wa Wanga alikuwa na bongo na bado alikuwa deceived na sweets. Mambo leo still ni ukoloni, believe me, hata Mugabe angekuwa Kenya angetaka anyone amuite roba ama ni roba. So tunashika country hapa, the president anapenda the youth but most strategic jobs anapenda the old, na kwa hiyo mood still awali country yenye na constitution kama ni leadership inachagua humanity kwa leader wangu juu kama leadership ni good degrees na certificates, basi hadi sija karatasi za kitu zilikuwa true. Ifedi na dalisi misinta bread, so pieces mobs za peace wasanii wanaandika lakini bado hawana amani. Kiongozi mwananchi alichagua already anamficha white, already anastokia ngani ya kubandika posters ndani ya campaign na Turkana tunakufa njaa. Manjiko hizi hapo kwa walimwengu tulimwaroskoko na majani chai na nianza kupata ile nyayo. Afya center ni kama base plan ya viongozi wa snacks. Dogs ni less, hospitals ni less, na zenye ziko hazina madawa. Doka na complain of protective gears ni ana texture ya 4M na last time nurses wali strikes ni jana. Si wages zinafanya mwalimu kuhata kidato. Si wages zina donatives kwa evicted Kariobangi, Mukuru na Ruai. Unanyomoke Ruai kinaki. Equality kwa wapi time kuna mwenye nchikare na kona aneka ya paki na nesta smoking zone na parking lot kuliko chio fulani kwa madhari. Equality kwa wapi time kuna mwenye nchikare na aneka ya paki na nesta smoking zone na parking lot kuliko chio fulani kwa madhari. Diseases kama cancer, COVID hazini Kenyans tena. Unakufanya depression na hunger, hizo guns na make kama hizi shoot corruption ama kufight hunger, then Kenyan bado wako insecure. Tunataka police service ya police force. Utumishi kwa wote, si utumishi kwa kara wengine.
Makara wengine ni still na photographers kila time, they've got a clear shot. Makara wengine ni kama wote kwa class, walipasura viatu bila kutosha shooters. Bila na recruitment zao, alafu tukaambiwa kuna shida za macho. Alafu tukatembea station, tukapata afande amevaa miwani. So niambie nani alifunga mwingine macho ama tulifungua macho? Yukuwa na za macho. Si ndio? Mimi naitwa Cricket Right.
Here to speak to us very briefly as we come towards the end of our evening. We have our celebrated Ngugi wa Thiong'o speaking to us very briefly, and then we have very briefly our Field Marshal Muthoni wa Kirema. Very briefly as we come towards the end, the close of our amazing celebration for our Shujaa Micere Mugo.
Ndĩramũririkana nĩ mwana mwega tondũ ndiuga ũru wake no njugire wega wake. Ona ndathiaga kũmuona kũrĩa kĩrĩa mũciĩ tondũ nĩtwendanĩte nake mũno. Gũtikĩrĩ mũndũ makĩrĩ ũcio nake, na ndathiĩ kuo rĩ nĩtwateretaga wega tukiaria nake rĩ harĩ mũndũ reke tuge harĩ mũndũ wa rũrĩrĩ na arĩ bata na rũrĩrĩ rwao, na harĩ maũndũ-inĩ ma gwetha wĩyathi rĩ ndacokaga na thutha. Anjĩraga kũnyitana nĩ kĩndũ kĩa bata mũno, tũnyitane na tũtuĩke ũmwe, na andũ marĩ kũnyitana gũtirĩ mũndũ ũngĩmahota. Rĩu Mucere nĩaraumire thĩ ĩno. Roho wake ũrathiĩ kwa Ngai. Niĩ nguga Ngai amũkĩre roho wa Mucere, awĩige wega na amũririkanage mahinda-inĩ mothe. Tondũ Mucere arĩ mũrata wakwa na nĩtwendaine, na ndauma gwakwa ngathiĩ kwao na tũgatereta tũkaria. Koguo Ngai nĩamũige harĩa hega na hatheru. Ndirĩ ũndũ ũngĩ niĩ ingĩuga tiga Ngai amũige wega.
Micere Mugo, a beauty of my body, mind, and soul. I knew of her before I met her. She was at Alliance Girls and I at Alliance Boys. I was a year ahead of her. Her beauty had somehow spread across the valley between the two schools. Later, we would meet at Makerere, Kampala, Uganda, both of us students of English, where we ended up as editors of Pen Point. the department's literary magazine. Little did I know that our time together at Makerere was only a dress rehearsal for our time as colleagues in the newly born literature department of the University of Nairobi. It was not only the work in the department. In some ways, it was the best of times for both of us. But the highlight was our collaboration in the writing of the play, The Trial of Dedan Kimathi. It was performed in Nairobi and later in Nigeria, Festac 1977. Theater would be the beginning of our troubles with both the Jomo Kenyatta and the Daniel Moi governments. Barely a year after the play, I was sent to Kamete Maximum Security Prison. Micere Mugo was thrown into police cells for torture. By 1982, both of us were in exile in different parts of the world, but we ended up as professors in American universities. I will always remember her. She was a unique combination of beauty of body, mind, and soul. She put that beauty to the service of the empowerment of the working people of Africa and the world. Gokiuga teogi. Micere, inuka na wega mwaro wa githae na nowe nyina wa mũmbi rũrĩrĩ na nowe gĩtungati gĩa Kenya na Afrika. Ũrĩmĩri waku ũgũtũũra umagia maciaro na ithuĩ na njiaro ingĩ na ingĩ tũgethage magetha. Makũmbĩ maitũ makaiyũra cia rũciũ rwitũ. Micere, cera na njata na ithuĩ ũgatũcereria ũtheri wa njata, ũgatũmũrĩkĩra njĩra ona nduma ĩigana atĩa, ũgathoma ciugo cia wĩtĩkio waku atĩ mũndũ nĩ mũndũ nĩ ũndũ wa mũndũ ũrĩa ũngĩ.
Send us your light, Micere Mugo. Send us your light. Orecha Collective with Mzalendo Kimanthi.
As we come to the end, towards the last bits of this program, we will not do justice if we can leave this theater without sampling a theatrical piece that our dear sister wrote and performed here. So we are going to share with you just a very short scene from Mzalendo Kimathi. This is going to be presented by the Orecha Collective. I'm being told on the side that this piece has been stood over because of time, so Shai, karibu.
It's after 10, and to be very honest, we're going to have plenty of opportunities in the year to come to do many more performances and readings. I think it's only in the spirit of Utu that we allow people to go home and just have a vote of thanks. I promise you there will be many, many opportunities. I know there had been a couple of special requests that because we're at the Kenya National Theatre, we should do at least the trial of Dedan Kimathi and an excerpt from what Micere herself, she took the role of woman. But I promise you we will do it again. So may I please invite DK to come and do the vote of thanks on behalf of the committee. Please bear with us. DK?
Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri, tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote.
Time, it's unfair, but then we have to sleep. Mombi, thank you so much for being here. It's amazing that we could stay all this long and feel as if it's still very early. But then, let's just appreciate that it's been a long day, and that my dear sister has said there'll still be opportunities to come and celebrate again and again. My name is Kamau Ngugi. I am an activist, I'm a human rights defender, and I feel so honored to have had the opportunity to meet and to honor with my colleagues, to honor Micere on the 6th of January this year, just next door here in the same compound. And it's so lovely that we could do this again, so thank you. So at this point, please, I would wish and I would love to thank everyone, because it's so difficult to name people, to name organizations, to name individuals. Because when you list, you're likely to lose out on some. So I don't want to do that injustice. Just allow me to thank the organizers, the committee, and the people behind everything that took place in this event and the event that took place yesterday. Allow me to thank them deeply for all the work that has been put into this. Some of them are still busy backstage. Specifically, allow me to thank the management of the Kenya National Theatre for allowing us to be here, her space, our space. And yesterday, of course, we thank the organizers and the team at the University of Nairobi. Now, there are so many people I would wish again to list, but please accept that if I do that, I'll miss out on so many people. But on your program, please, let's appreciate that there are many speakers and artists that have said something positive, something nice, that have made us to stay on. There are people who have been doing documentation, and for that reason, this day will live on. So for those who are doing the photos and videos, we thank you, led by Stini Njoroge, and of course, the montage. We have people who have done some great posters, again, for purposes of documentation. There are people who have been involved in all this stage work, behind the scenes. But the most important thing, allow me also to appreciate resources that have come from individuals and organizations. I'm not sure if they want me to mention them by the names, because I fear that we are likely to lose on others. But very specifically, let me thank Jessica Horn, who was here from Ford Foundation. Allow me to thank the team from Uraia who are here for the support. Allow me to recognize contributions of individuals, private individuals that sent some resources. We will be sharing a pay bill number, and the Defenders Coalition is the one that will be pulling together all the resources, and then we'll be handing over to the foundation. So at this point, allow me to thank each and everyone who is here. Please, I know that I would have wished to mention each and every person, but I will not. But please, the band, the field marshals, make sure the last song, the last dance, mention some of the people that you feel are critical that we must mention them. So thank you very much.
Wamama wetu, my fighter. Hi, hi. You know we have to stand. It's our final song as we celebrate this evening, as we go home, as we celebrate all the feministas who are here, all the speakers that we've had tonight, and to us who are here. Wamama wetu, my fighter. Wamama wetu, my fighter. Wasichana wetu, imara. Sipeni wasichana wetu, imara. Mudhoni Wanjiru makomanda. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makoma. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makomanda. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makoma. Wamenza, wamenza. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makoma. Wamenza, wamenza. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makoma. Wangare Madhai Magerila. Wangare Madhai Magerila. Wangare Madhai Magerila. Wangare Madhai Magerila. Comrades, this is the time for us to do something called Juogi. We are invoking the spirits. You can come here and dance with us. You can dance where you are. Come on, let's celebrate this night. Let's celebrate our feministas. Mishere Kizae Makomanda. Mishere Kizae Makoma. Mishere Kizae Makomanda. Mishere Kizae Makoma. Mishere, Mishere. Mishere wa Mugo Makerila. Mishere, Mishere. Mishere wa Mugo Makerila. Mishere Kizae Makomanda. Mishere Kizae Makoma. Mishere Kizae Makomanda. Mishere Kizae Makoma. Form the unit and fight. 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 Wamama wetu, my fighter. Wamama wetu, imara. Wamama wetu, feministas. Wamama wetu, activista. Hey ta 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 ta. Hey ta 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 ta. Hey ta 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 ta. Hey ta 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 ta. Unyanyasaji, kanyaga. Unyanyasaji, kanyaga. Patriarchy, kanyaga. Patriarchy, kanyaga. Wamama wetu, Shujaa Micere wetu, Shujaa. Wangare wetu, Shujaa. Madai wetu, Shujaa. Hey ta 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 ta. 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 Wamama wetu, imara. Wamama wetu, mafighter. Wamama wetu, wana mapinduzi. Wamama wetu, imara. Wasichana wetu, warembo. Wasichana wetu, warembo. Wasichana wetu, imara. Wasichana wetu, imara. Hey ta 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 ta. 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 Mudhoni Nyanjiru makomanda. Mudhoni Nyanjiru makoma. Mishere wa Mugo Makerila. Mishere wa Mugo Makerila. Mishere, Mishere. Mishere wa Mugo Makerila. Mishere, Mishere. Mishere wa Mugo Magerila. This one tonight, you say jogi. Say jogi.
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 Kawa no maruak 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 jogi.
Jogi. Jogi.
Kawa no maruak Micere.
Jogi.
Kawa no maruak Micere.
Jogi.
Kawa no maruak Gedai. Jogi. Kamoro manuak Micere. Kawa no maruak jogi.
Jogi.
Now we are gonna up the tempo a bit. Kawa no maruak jogi.
Jogi.
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 Kawa no maruak mombi.
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 Jogi.
Kawa no maruak jogi.
Jogi.
Kawa no maruak jogi.
Jogi.
Kawa no mar. Now you go with me.
Jogi.
Kawa no maruak jogi.
Jogi.
Kawa no maruak unga. Kawa no maruak unga. Kawa no maruak unga. Makofi, makofi, makofi.
Kanyamazana siyaya ho.
Siyaya.
Kanyamazana bubute.
Siyaya.
Kanyamazana siyaya ho.
Siyaya.
Kanyamazana bubute.
Siyaya.
Anasi hambale toy toy toy.
Siyaya.
Ile toy toy toy.
Siyaya.
Anasi hambale toy toy toy.
Siyaya.
Ile toy toy toy. Kanyamazana siyaya ho. Kanyamazana bubute. Kanyamazana siyaya ho. Kanyamazana bubute. Kanyamazana siyaya ho. Kanyamazana bubute. Anasi hambale toy toy toy. Ile toy toy toy. Anasi hambale toy toy toy. Ile toy toy toy. Anasi hambale toy toy.
Tuandamane vijana. Tuandamane wamama. Tuandamane vijana. Na tukiimba hii toy toy toy. Tuandamane hii toy toy toy. Na tukiimba hii toy toy toy. Tuandamane hii toy toy toy. Na tukiimba hii toy toy toy. Tuandamane hii toy toy toy. Na tukiimba hii toy toy toy. Tuandamane hii toy toy toy. Tutasonga kwa mapinduzi.
Tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote. Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri. Tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote.
Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri.
Tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote.
Tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri.
Tukomboe Kenya na wananchi wote.
Na Micere tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
Social justice tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
Na affirmations tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
Defense coalition tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
Orator creative tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
University of Nairobi tuoneshe
kwa siasa nzuri. Kwa siasa nzuri.
Na tutasonga kwa siasa nzuri.
Tukomboe Afrika na wananchi wote.